Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense.
Sort of.
But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning. We're Lost on Lost.
Welcome, everybody, to Lost on Lost. My name is Adam Busher, and I'm joined by my favorite other, JP Russell.
That's me, baby. This feels weird. Left seat, right seat, man.
I was trying to think of a whole bit about who is my favorite other, and that's about as far as I got.
You could say Juliet.
I mean, well, yeah, Juliet is always going to be my favorite other. That's no contest, no question. Today we are talking about Catch-22. It is the 17th episode of Season 2, and it's the 66th episode of Lost overall. Our centric character this week is everybody's favorite herbal essences, shampoo, and conditioner model, Desmond Hume. Catch-22 takes place on the 84th and 85th day after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. JP?
Yeah, it's me.
Do you have a recap for us?
I do.
Let's have it.
You get a load of this island? I mean, every aircraft in the world crashes here. Can you believe it? Every time you look up in the sky, whoop, there goes another aircraft. I thought this was supposed to be an impossible-to-find island, but apparently, this is where every flight takes you. Desmond thinks he's never going to see Penny again. Well, you're in luck, buddy. She's taking a flight to Dallas-Fort Worth and will probably crash in the Pacific Ocean by the middle of the day. Speaking of disasters, can we knock it off with all the love triangles? There's too many triangles. I can't keep track of all these triangles. I thought I would never use trigonometry outside of high school. Boy, was I wrong. We got a Jack Kate Sawyer triangle, a Julia cosine, and my hypotenuse is all confused. And what's the deal with Charlie Pace? Is he living? Is he dying? We gotta make up our minds here, people. Are we gonna kill this poor idiot or not? Hopefully we find out soon. Don't worry if he does die. We're gonna hold a service on the island. I hear his whole family's taking a flight to Manchester and they're scheduled to crash on the island at 3 p.m. I don't know if that worked.
I guess we'll find out. That was totally worth switching back to you doing recaps for the next X number of episodes. Jesus.
I'm not going to do that every week. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest.
You are kidding. How do we keep convincing people to join us on this show?
We have the one, the only, Nicholas Slayton with us today. Welcome to the show, Nicholas.
Yay.
Hey guys, glad to be here. Thanks for letting me just like randomly parachute in and maybe get trapped in a tree and almost die. I don't know.
It's wonderful to have you. We're very excited for a couple of reasons, actually. One, because Nicholas, you are a recovering Lost fan, much like myself.
Just relapse.
Yeah, there you go. Just fell off the wagon. But you also have a real life job, which is very, very cool to at least JP and I. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself there, Nicholas?
What I do is obsessive over Lost. Well, no, I am the weekend editor at Task and Purpose, the military war veterans news and culture site. I do that.
Never heard of it.
I'm also a freelance journalist. Outside of that, and co-host a James Bond and spy fiction podcast called Other Fellas.
Yeah,
nice.
Task and Purpose is a really cool social media presence that JP and I have been following for a while already. And then when you told me you were working for him, I was like, oh shit, no way. So that's very, very cool.
Yes, got fans. Let's go. Keep reading. But only read on Saturdays and Sundays. That's all my work. Anyone else?
Oh, well, that the Monday through Wednesday stuff's trash anyway.
No, just read every day. Please read every day. Give us a click. Please click through. Social, website, everything.
For sure.
Let's go.
Gotcha. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about Lost, too, like your relationship with the show.
I started watching it like halfway through the first season. got hooked and like I followed it obsessively and sort of went down the rabbit hole of like, oh my god, this book was in this episode, and so what's that theme's about? And like, okay, these guys are named for these philosophers, and this is so I learned a lot about electromagnetism and history and philosophy as a result of the show, and then stick with it to the very end. I will defend the final episode. I will defend the show to the end. But then once it ended, I hadn't rewatched it since. I stopped watching, and then a couple guys named Adam and JP told me to be on a Lost podcast, so I had to we watched the show for the first time, and now I'm turning back into Charlie, and It's Always Sunny with the boards and the string.
Well, this is a safe space for that mindset. Tell me more about these two guys, JP and Adam. They sound handsome.
I've only seen audio things, so I can't tell.
Oh yeah.
No, they sound very handsome and very rugged and very tough.
Well, cool, man. We are super excited to have you on the show. We're going to be talking about Catch-22. You guys want to talk about it? You want to get into it?
Absolutely.
Catch-22 originally aired on April 18th, 2007. It was written by Jeff Pinkner and Brian K. Vaughan and directed by Stephen Williams. Jeff Pinkner was a writer on Single Female Lawyer, Ally McBeal. And right around that time, Brian K. Vaughan was working on what is one of my favorite comic book series, X-Men's Age of Apocalypse.
So everybody about to say Ex Machina, which is a perfect comic book.
Yeah, that one's really good too.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody out there in the LoLdom is familiar with Stephen Williams' seminal television miniseries, Exploring Ontario's Provincial Parks, which aired in 1993.
What? I've been digging around his IMDb for 20 episodes and I never saw that.
Well, here's the thing. I got that from Wikipedia, so that might not be real.
Editor Adam Busher. That's weird.
So those are the details for Catch-22. Catch-22 opens up in the jungle.
We're just like, I didn't know when this conga line of like islanders was getting in, because I'm like, oh, it's Desmond, oh, it's Hurley, it's Charlie, oh, it's Jin, like who else is here?
This is a little foursome that I don't think we've really seen out palling around together before. Desmond, Hurley,
much, no.
Charlie, and Jin. It's pouring rain. Charlie and Hurley are they're having like a classic comic book argument, which once I realized that this was co-written by Brian K. Vaughan, I was like, oh, okay, that kind of tracks. But yeah,
and of course, Charlie's a fucking Superman fan, for God's sakes.
Superman is awesome.
Yeah, I was about to say, Nicholas, you want to step in here and tell JP who's actually the best superhero that's ever lived?
He's too good at everything.
No, but he's the most human of everyone. That's what makes him perfect. I mean, he's like a perfect character. He's so human. He has foibles despite his powers.
Okay, well,
I've already had this argument twice this week. I'm not getting into this again.
All right. Well, yeah, we are. Buckle up.
The argument they're having: who's faster? Who would win in a foot race, Superman or the Flash? Jin, the look on Jin's face is the face that I would have if I were walking behind the two of them arguing. Jin looks like he's ready to strangle the two of them with each other's clothes and leave them. I have not seen him that sad in such a long time.
Daniel Day Kim does so, like, he finally gets some room to do something in this episode, just like be the character, and it is absolutely phenomenal.
This foursome is so perfect because it's just like the best, like two buddies who are nerding out, the guy who's serious, and the guy's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. It's every group project in college.
Speaking of what's going on, Charlie gets shot in the throat with an arrow.
Oh, finally, Jesus.
It must be that French woman.
He steps on some sort of wire and he just like out of nowhere, just right to the Adam's apple, and that is that.
It is the slowest tripwire that has ever existed. Like it's got to go through the Pee-wee's breakfast machine before it actually fires the fucking arrow.
Like Charlie has his face of just like, oh no. You can see like the gears like, I screwed up, I can't move for some reason. And then
whip. Yeah. He had a year and a day to get out of the way of the arrow, and he just chose not to take it. Turns out it kills Charlie as it should. I mean, like we see the wound, it's like that'd probably be that. It turns out this is a vision. Desmond is not actually tromping through the jungle with his buddies Charlie, Hurley, and Jin. He's actually fishing, sitting on the beach with a fishing pole, enjoying some sun and doing some fishing. Desmond has visions. We know this a little bit. We haven't seen too many of his visions.
No.
We've seen enough of them to know that they're pretty much all revolve around Charlie, as though Charlie were the main character in Desmond's life.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
In the vision, he sees a bunch of flashes of stuff, and he sees this wire. We've seen this wire also too. Like Saeed has run into this wire. We're pretty sure the Ethernet cable for the island. But in the vision, Desmond saw Hurley playing with it, so he goes to ask Hurley about the wire.
Which I was like, all I could think of every time they mention the wire is Omar coming.
I mean, Hurley even asked, like, did you use some mushrooms or something?
I was like, Hurley's got a pretty good joke here. Did you eat those mushrooms Jack warned us about? Which is great because so there's just fucking magic mushrooms like growing. Yeah. Like, why is this the first time that this has come up?
Like we talked about with Matt Susterich, like Locke needed something for his fucking island pudding or whatever. So maybe there are psychedelics on the island, and for some reason people aren't fucking having fun with that all the time. It
would have been great if he was like, you didn't eat those mushrooms that Jack warned us about, and Desmond would be like, we've been out of those for weeks. And then they just move on. Just like, we're out. They're all gone. But yeah, so he tells him about the vision. He doesn't say anything, but he says someone's coming.
Right. He says someone's coming, but Hurley also just refers. He's like, hey, is this more future crap? So like Hurley's in the know.
At this point in the island, it feels like you sort of accept it, like, oh, crazy Frenchwoman, others, black smoke, weird monster, like, future crap. Okay, fine.
Right, yeah. It's exactly. Like, if this would have happened, like, 10 days after the crash, it would have been like, what? What are you talking about? You can see the future? But because they've been there for almost 3 months, it's like, yeah, fine, whatever. If there's a fucking T-Rex here, too, I don't care anymore. Like, I mean... just bring it.
That'd be kind of dope. Oh, T-Rex on mushrooms? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
We have the lost card, and then we come back into the episode. Cold open. We go into our first flashback. I thought at first I was like, Desmond's in jail? But it turns out it's a seminary. Desmond's kneeling in this room, this very Spartan room, and it looks like he's praying, whatever. And a dude comes in, and he's like, hey, congratulations. You've passed the test of silence, brother. And he's like, thank you, brother. And brother. I think I know why they did this as sort of like a source for why Desmond calls everybody brother. Right?
I didn't need an answer to that. I just like that he called everybody brother, like Macho Man Randy Savage.
Exactly. Like if we never found out why Desmond says brother all the time and he just said brother all the time, that would have been perfectly fine.
But anyways, so yeah, he passed the vow of silence or whatever.
Test of silence, whatever. We come back to the beach. Desmond and Hurley are visiting Jack.
I was confused as fuck here.
So Desmond is just like, hey, we need the first aid kit. Can we borrow it? Jack's like, bring it back. I don't remember what Jack says to Hurley, but Hurley's like the worst liar ever.
You're like, what's up with you, man? Are you okay?
That's right. He just asks him if he's okay. And like we all know the knee-jerk answer to "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm fine. Like that's not like you don't have to try to like even if that is a lie, that's the easiest lie for anybody to do. How you doing? Fine.
But like, did you see Hurley's face?
He couldn't even look at him.
That's what I love about it. You know how like when little kids know that they're doing something bad and they just like won't make eye contact. Yeah. Like he's doing the thing where he's like, if anybody asks me a goddamn thing, I'm gonna fold like a lawn chair. So like he's just like, I'm not gonna make eye contact. I'm not gonna engage. Like dude. Jorge Garcia is so fucking good.
I love him. I mean, so like it's obvious that he's lying. Like even as they're walking away, Desmond's like, "What are you doing? Like, quit being so weird, you big weirdo." But despite the fact that like he's obviously Jack doesn't do anything about it, he gives him the first aid kit. He's like, "Yeah, bring it back when you're done." And then he lets him go do that.
I don't think he even mentions the first aid kit to anyone else in the episode, like Jack does. He's not like, yeah, I really hope Desmond gets back. I might need that.
Yeah, right.
Like what?
And I didn't think about this until like way later in the episode, but I guess he's bringing the first aid kit so he can hypothetically minister to Charlie when he takes an arrow to the throat.
I guess.
Like in the vision, is that where the towel came from? Because like throughout this episode, he's all about preserving the integrity of the vision so that it actually comes through all that.
I mean, I feel like Jack kind of got the little wink and nod, like I need your first aid kit for reasons, because it's like, oh, I twisted my ankle. Like, first of all, you were walking over here pretty fine, but also you need the entire medical kit for a twisted ankle. You need some tape and a splint. Like,
right.
what you need this hemostat for, friend?
I got the impression that like Jack knows that he's bullshit, but he doesn't care.
Desmond's like one of the few people he trusts on the island.
Yeah, right.
For some reason, because he met him before.
I've seen this guy run, so he can take the supplies. We cut to the, or I guess we stay on the beach, just a different part of the beach. Sawyer goes to visit Kate. This is another instance of us, the audience, being forced to watch somebody ogle Kate in her underwear.
I mean, yes, Evangeline Lilly's like gorgeous or whatever, but like the reaction that Sawyer has, I'm convinced he's never encountered a woman before.
The thing that I took away from this was, because nothing of import really gets talked about in this scene. Recently, Kate and Sawyer have slept together. Yeses don't last forever. So, like, just because you slept with her for like a couple of days ago doesn't mean you just get carte blanche to walk in her and change it, dude. Like, quit being a weirdo. Like, it was weird because they did this thing. They tried to make it look like she was okay with it, which is weird because he comes in, she sees her changing. She doesn't say get out or close the door or anything like that.
Right. She's just kind of like,
she just kind of smiles at him,
boys
slowly
boys.
continues getting dressed, and then like they were trying to give the impression that she was okay with it. And maybe because of the recent developments of them having slept together for the first time. I'm sure this would have played 12, 15 years ago, whatever it was. But like I was sitting there watching. I was like, dude, okay, I don't care that you just slept with her a couple days ago. Step outside while she finishes changing. Then proposition her for sex.
There's a clear order of operations here, goddammit.
Sawyer is a con man. He should know how to read people, right?
Right. Yeah. He wants to know if she told Jack. She tells him Jack knows. It's all like real high school hallway gossip shit.
The love triangle of this part of a show is so just like, come on, guys.
It's interesting that you say that because I was thinking ahead to what happens in like seasons 4 and 5 with, Sawyer, Kate, Jack, Juliet, all that stuff. And I do love where it ends up.
Oh my God, yeah, it's great.
This path to there is fucking tedious. We cut to something more interesting. Desmond and Hurley are going to recruit
Jin fishing.
Jin is fishing. This was absolutely bonkers. He's like, how are we going to get him to come along, brother? And he's like, let the master work. He just goes over and asks him if you want to come along.
But he's just like, you want to go camping?
It's day 84 or whatever, mate. We're getting bored. We need to do something.
That's my note. Jin is like the go-to hangout guy. Doesn't matter what's going on.
He really is.
You come up to, hey, Jin, you want to do whatever? He's like, let's do it. Because, they've been there for almost 90 days. Like, there's only so much going on. If somebody comes to you with an idea for something to do, hey, it's something to do. And the only person that always subscribes to that is Jin. Some people opt out. Some people don't get asked. Every time Jin gets asked, he's like, yes, and let's go camping.
Yeah, I forgot how much I love Jin. This episode is a great Jin episode.
Yeah,
it's like a Desmond episode, but like Jin's amazing.
While Hurley and Jin talk about getting ready to go camping, Desmond goes to find Charlie. He's got to also get Charlie to make sure the vision stays complete. They have a little bit of discussion. Charlie he wants to go along. He's skeptical at first. Charlie knows about the visions. He knows that Desmond is trying to. So like he's despite the fact that he is skeptical of what's actually going to happen on this, he does go along because he does. Yeah, he trusts to a point Desmond's needs, I guess.
I absolutely love Desmond using his powers for good in this one because Charlie's like, can I bring my guitar? And Desmond's flashes show Charlie walking through the jungle with the guitar in a goddamn monsoon. That guitar's trash. He's like, if I have to listen to the first 3.5 chords of Wonderwall one more time, I'm going to kill this motherfucker.
I'm going to beat him to death with his own guitar.
We might need fireworks. I don't know.
They set out. They do the bridge over the River Kwai thing. The whistling. What's it called? Captain Bogey's
Bogey March. Yeah, something like that.
And none of them are really great whistlers, which I love. They find the wire. And they're like, oh, it's almost, let's just camp here. It's almost dark. It's like, even though it's like obviously the middle of the afternoon, they have succeeded in the first half division. So they're going to hold there for the moment.
Flashback. Yeah, we are in what seems to be both the monastery and a vineyard.
Monks make alcohol. It's a thing.
I guess they can make wine too. They're packaging wine, putting some labels on the bottles. The wine is apparently named after the place where Abraham was going to sacrifice his son in the Bible. They have a little discussion about that. Sometimes the parable or the parallel that an episode of Lost is trying to tell is obscure and not really made very clear. Here they were like, "Nah, we're doing an Isaac and Abraham thing.
We're gonna beat you over the fucking head with it."
Just we're not being subtle this time. This one, it's all out there. We're laying it out.
I don't know. I feel like I've heard a million television shows bring up like the story of Abraham. You know what I mean? It's just like
but how many mention like the place it was at?
That's
Lost
true.
went a little extra step.
That's right.
You're right, Nicholas. You're right. Oh man, this show's
And
so
they
good.
threw in wine, so if you can drink along as every time they say brother, you just drink some red wine.
Yep. You just be blacked out by the end of Act 3.
Hold on.
You get to miss
now
the
you
rest of
might
the
be
Kate
onto
scenes.
something here, Nicholas. Every time Desmond says, "Brother, you take a drink."
Take a drink.
Ooh, all right. Add that to the list, Adam.
Except for this episode.
Except for this episode, because
Oh,
it
okay.
will kill you.
Yes.
And wine is 100 quid a bottle.
What's a quid?
With conversion factor, let's go over here. Is that probably at 2000? Well, no, this was 1995. So you're looking at, this is probably. I'm totally estimating here. I have no freaking idea, but that's
$400,000.
it's at least more than $150.
A dude, they're just like, "Hey, brother Desmond, a dude wants to say hi to you," and this guy walks and just clocks him.
I just assumed that's a Scottish greeting, though. So, like, I was waiting for more dialogue to happen, and then he just left.
I was fully expecting
I was
that.
waiting to see if he'd make a Scottish.
He just like punches him, and like, "Okay, we got that out of the way. Hey, man, it's so good to see you. I haven't seen you since high school."
Like, he's violent. This guy is polite because he immediately apologizes to the monk.
Yeah, he crosses himself. Sorry.
Was it Brother Campbell, I want to say?
Something, like that.
Yeah.
Because there's like another brother is Brother Martin, and I'm like, is this like a director Martin Campbell, like GoldenEye reference? I don't know.
Yeah, brother.
Well, we
Campbell.
have the right guest on if it is.
The guy has nothing else to say to Desmond. He clocks him and leaves, and Desmond, he was just like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna deal with that," and that's the end of it. We come back to the beach. It's nighttime. Kate's having a little oatmeal. Jack comes in to do some kitchen stuff. They talk about oatmeal. They make awkward small talk. Jack goes to chill with Juliet.
You forgot about the spoon.
Enlighten us. What note should I have taken about that would have made this scene interesting?
Jack asks Kate if he can borrow her spoon, and before she hands it to him, she puts it in her mouth.
Yeah.
And licks it off.
Yeah.
I would never speak to that human again. Like, I don't care if it was my own mother. I would never speak to her again if someone did that.
So she's trying to flirt with him, right?
I think.
I don't know.
I think she's trying to flirt with him. I don't know what she's trying to do. She's trying to be cute, like, "Oh, we survived a harrowing experience together. We're back in, it's nice to be back at what constitutes home. Can we be friends again?" Like, I don't understand what she's trying to do as far as like getting his attention or whatever.
I feel like that's more indicative of an underlying problem with this scene is that Jack and Kate's entire relationship is born around these life or death, insane, crazy circumstances.
Sure.
And that's the only way they interact. Now they have a minute to just talk, and the writers are like, we don't have anything for them to talk about.
Well, like, this is what I was getting with Adam, like, because, where this story eventually ends, like, the way this love rectangle, whatever it is, ends up, like, things work out with interesting character work and good chemistry, and you're here, and you're right. It's like, Sawyer and Kate are based around, like, weird, odd, unresolved sexual tension that maybe gets resolved, and you have these two. We meet at the crash landing of a plane. We meet here. We survived the others. Now what?
The two of them just don't know how to be together.
As often our guests do, Nicholas completed my thought, and it's actually good writing, and I'm going to shut up now.
Sorry.
Jack goes to have dinner with Juliet, and that makes Kate very sad, so she goes and fucks Sawyer.
And he asks the question that I always ask whenever I'm about to be intimate with my partner. Are you crying?
Are you crying?
And then she always gives the Bam Margera from Jackass 2 answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, she's crying and sleeping with Sawyer. And does she wish that she was Juliet, or does she wish that Sawyer was Jack? I guess it's kind of the same thing, but like.
What does Sawyer want, too? Is he wish he was Jack? Does he wish she was Juliet?
I hope so.
Ooh.
It's like, there's no rules on this island. They should, we constantly talk about people having their own space. Those four characters should just share a tent.
I mean, that would have resolved like 5 seasons of TV right there.
They would have made it much.
But like this is what I was saying about like this season. Like it started off so bad and like became so great. And like this episode has like one half of the plot is the Desmond, Charlie, Jin, Hurley camping trip of awesomeness, which is an amazing storyline. It sets up so much, and you just have to go with like, and we're back to this love.
And let's go back to the beach real quick and talk about whatever. Yeah.
Oatmeal for dinner.
That was some of the best acting I've ever seen because nobody in the history of the world has ever described oatmeal as really good. It's fine. It's oatmeal.
It's white, mushy, and bland. Oh, wait, no, I'm reading the reviews for my portion of the podcast.
I was going to see, are you reading your driver's license?
There it is.
We come back to the camp. But,
I'm sorry.
one
Really quick note. The zipper noise that they add in is far too long of a zipper. Like I was like, is she unzipping a sleeping bag? What's going on here?
We come back to the camp. I loved this. The beginning of this. Jin is telling a ghost story.
Be one of the best moments of Lost we've seen ever.
So good. He's speaking Korean, of course. He's fluent in Korean. Hurley is just wrapped. Just like totally sucked in. Can't understand over the story. Got the flashlight, got the thing, and then there's an exclamation, and then the hand, or lack of, pops out, scares the piss out of Hurley. Like, it's so, like, adorable, and just like I'm imagining the 4 of these men as just like 4 children in a treehouse. You know, even if they don't find anything, this was fun. You know,
I put a note. I was like, whatever percentage of the show is this fun silliness, it needs like 10% more. Yeah, because this is like these actors getting to not worry about these insane situations and just be these like fun, lovable characters that are superhuman is like. It's so good. I fucking love it.
It's fun character stuff that they could have gotten a lot of mileage out of had they chose to focus on it, or at least partially, or focus on it more than they did.
It works. Yeah. Like they get along. It's fun. You want to see more of it.
Yeah, really. Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I need to go back. I'm going to rewatch the whole show now, damn it. I want to go back and see like what happens next.
They swap. Hurley starts telling his a ghost story. And Des is sitting off to the side. He's looking at a picture of, we find out is a woman named Penny, somebody very special to him, whatever. Him and Charlie talk about it. They talks about, ran away from Penny. So he calls himself a coward. While they're talking about all this stuff, they hear a noise, a helicopter. It seems to be in some sort of distress. One of them says, "Are helicopters supposed to sound like that?" It crashes into the water. It's like, apparently not.
This is a joke for Nicholas and Nicholas only. That's how ospreys sound. So, anyways, back to the podcast.
The beacon, some sort of light falls out of the helicopter, does not fall in the water. Desmond is like, and this is all part of his vision. Like he knows that that's a person. They got to go. He's like, and so he gets all hyper. He's like, let's go. And Charlie's like, I'm not going to the jungle in the middle of the night. And then Desmond remembers, oh yeah, we found her during the day. He's like, yeah, no problem. We'll wait.
I was trying to remember like the mechanics of Desmond's visions. Is it just like he sees it once and like must remember all the details? So he's like, as soon as it becomes plot relevant, he's like, no, you're right.
You're right.
Like he just relives that one portion again or something.
We come back to flashback. Apparently, the dude who punched Desmond was his ex-fiance's brother. When the Ruth came to the door, I thought that, like, again, not remembering how the show went, I was expecting Penny to step out from behind that dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's not Penny. Okay. They have a little discussion about him leaving her at the altar. He had a calling. It's like.
They dated for 6 years.
All that stuff.
Like your only religious experience is when like this one soccer team won the cup.
Yeah. She calls him
Which is a great line.
Yeah, it's a super good line.
Yeah, the Celtics. There's like I forget what's city that is.
It's the football team. But that's like one of the big Scottish national teams. Yeah, she says that. She makes that joke. It's like the closest you ever came to having a religious experience was this thing. And I was like on her side the whole time. I was just like, yeah, dude. Let's say you woke up drunk in a gutter and then somebody helped you up, and you're like, I'm supposed to be a monk a fucking week before your wedding, dude. Like. If it was that easy to convince you that you had a calling, like you weren't, it could have been anybody.
Yeah, I believe a monk who helps him out says the word brother also, so that's the moment. That is the moment becomes the thing. This is the origin story. This is the moment. Yeah. This is a Wayne's getting murdered outside the theater. This is it.
Can I help you, brother? Why did you say that name?
God damn it.
Well, that's the last episode of Lost on Lost. Thank you for joining. She brings up a fantastic point. It's like the last thing that she says. She's like, listen, next time you want to break up with somebody, just tell them you're too scared. Don't tell them you went to join the monastery. Like, I don't give a fuck if you did have this calling to be like, our relationship was so bad, I had to go to a place where I never speak or never have sex ever again. Just be like, I joined the Peace Corps, you know. I don't know. I'm reading to blind puppies or something like that. Like something that like doesn't have any baggage compared to a relationship. Like she hits him with that, and it's like, yeah, fuck you, Desmond.
Okay, wait, Desmond's whole background. Okay, so this is like 95, and like, okay, it's gotta be like, he's like what, like 25, 26 when this is going down? It's like, dude, you like ditched your fiance at 25, went to join a monastery? Like what? I don't know. I don't know the exact time frame here, but like.
If he's in his mid-20s and they dated for 6 years, they started dating when he was a teenager. Like,
yeah, I was wondering. So it was like, okay, obviously you got to do the actions as they are, but like,
like if you go back in time, like 10 years before the crash, or 13 years, like the crash was in 2004. If this was 10 years before that, 90, the mid 90s. So yeah, like a lot happened to Desmond.
Desmond, of all the guys with expansion pack pass, Desmond has one of the biggest ones.
Oh man,
monk,
that's
artist,
a fantastic
soldier.
way of describing Desmond.
Anyway, brothers, what's going on next?
We cut back to the beach. Juliet is working on her tent. Jack is helping her. Sawyer comes over, makes it sound like some sort of weird whatever. He's like sinister, like there've been some changes since you've been gone. And they bust out some ping pong paddles, and then they play ping pong.
I do love that Juliet, when she's building, she's like, you don't know how to use a hammer? And Jack's like, my dad only taught me how to drink. And I was that's a little too close to the pulse, but it's funny.
The conversation that they have while they're playing ping pong, I mean, it's clear they clearly have girl trouble. There's a bunch of things that are going unsaid between Sawyer and Jack. They're both thinking about not only Kate, but Juliet. Both of them are in their heads about the relationships between the two women in this little love quadrangle, and then their relationship to the two men. I just put the note that this conversation is not as bad as it would have been earlier in the thing. Like both of them have softened since like their earlier season one, like antagonistic sort of relationship between the two of them. Like they both have eased up to a point where like they're not going to get into some sort of pissing contest about which one of them Kate likes more, which one, they moved past that, which I was thankful for.
This is post Sawyer's revelation to Jack about Christian, so like there's a little bit of like there's been some olive branches extended.
The ping pong was a nice touch, though. That was just, again, like one of those like fun moments in the show.
It was more fun to watch them play ping pong than it was to watch the two of them play poker that one time. So I'll 100% give you that, because like it's tough to make watching poker dynamic, but like ping pong, at least they're up and moving,
Then I'm picturing Bernard over in the corner still trying to make his SOS sign. Like, why don't you guys prioritize having an SOS sign in the sand? You got ping pong tables, you got a masseuse, you got a Five Guys. Like, why don't you just have an SOS sign in the sand?
Lowers the value of a resort. You got to understand. Like, the reason planes keep crashing on this island is for the amenities, not for any SOS signs. The hospitality industry is very clear in their messaging, public relations.
That's right. We don't want to be seeing a big SOS made out of black rocks from the beach view bungalows. Everybody facing the ocean just want to look at this big stupid sign. I mean, come on. How are we going to keep those rooms at 95% occupancy in the off season if we got this big ugly SOS? I mean, think, Bernard, think.
Jesus. Cut back to the jungle.
The jungle. They're arguing a little bit. They stop for a break. Curly sits down to catch his breath, and then Desmond climbs on him to get a bag out of the tree that he spotted. And he's just like, "Don't move!" And he climbs on him. It's like, dude, not nice.
Like, I don't understand if all of a sudden the pilot was there and you were like, I need to save somebody's life, but you can take the millisecond it takes to be like, hey, I'm going to step on your shoulders now.
Hurley's just like, what the hell? And he's like, future crap. Don't worry about it.
Future crap. Oh, okay. I remember I'm in for that. The bag is pretty, this was awesome because they open the bag. There's a copy of Catch-22 in German?
Portuguese.
And inside of it is a copy of the picture that Desmond was looking at the night before of him and Penny. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh shit, okay, maybe there's something to this. Throughout the episode, he confirms it later, but like we all assume that he wants to find this pilot because he thinks it's probably Penny.
From a narrative perspective, I kind of wish that that Desmond's flashes wouldn't have had the picture in it. That it just would have had the cover of the book, because that reveal is pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You know, just like, here's a random bag and my fucking picture's in it. That is like mind breaking, like information.
But, like, even if at time watching the show linearly, like this Pro Wives episode was like such a big deal to rewatch for me. It's just like, oh shit, this is when things like really like, you know, why is there a copy of this picture? Who sent it? What's going on here? Like, oh shit, is someone coming there? And it blew my mind every time. It's like very like, this is a big one. It doesn't look like it's going to be one, but it is.
Absolutely.
Also in the bag is a satellite phone that is not working.
In general, there's a lot of electronics on this island that just don't fucking work.
Oh, it goes against the whole hospitality rules. You want to keep, you know, rooms filled. SOS signs or your phones, they don't work.
Yeah, there you go.
It ruins the value. Investors are against that.
Right, and like, disconnect from your electronic devices and just be present on the beach, you know?
I mean, look at this. Not a cell phone in sight. These are people living.
Cut to Ana Lucia's corpse rotting in the sand. Just like,
we cut to the beach. We come back to the beach. Kate and Sawyer are decompressing from the night prior. Sawyer's like, "Look, I know what you did. You don't have to use me. Like, I like you. Let's you know, just if you want to." You just have to ask, like, don't use me, like, whatever. But he's also like, again, I wrote 4 words for this sentence because this is not the interesting part of the episode.
There is another dig at Bernard though, which is nice.
Yeah,
poor Bernard.
That's true. Poor Bernard. Why is he getting roasted? Like, he's not even in the episode. People just roasting him.
Shout out to Phil Collins mixtapes.
Oh,
actually, that's like kind of a cute little thing. Like, Sawyer's chipping away at our hearts a little bit. He's not being a total piece of shit. So
so then we come back to the jungle. Charlie, he's talking to Desmond. He's like, if you would have just been honest with me about this, like, you could have told me that this vision might lead us to being rescued, and you wouldn't have had to keep things from me. I would, if this leads to us being rescued, of course I want it to work. So you could have just brought me in. Charlie, of course, not realizing that he hasn't told him the part about the arrow. But he's got a point. Like, if Desmond can see the future and this vision is supposed to get us rescued, everybody that knows should hypothetically be on board. So
at this point, like, Charlie knows from Desmond that Desmond's seeing visions of his death. He's preventing it, and he's going to die no matter what at some point. Yeah. So Charlie at this point has to be paranoid as fuck. Like, am I going to die today or what?
Right.
But also, like, wouldn't it make sense to just be with the guy who's been saving you? Like,
right.
I'd be following Desmond around constantly. Yeah. Like, hey, do I step over here? Where should I go? What do I do?
Exactly. Yeah. He mentions it later. That
I get Desmond being secretive, but do you think Charlie would be more like, "Hey, man, help me out here. What do I do?"
Yeah.
I don't quite understand the rules though of Desmond's dead zone or whatever that is that he has. Like, because he has a really good analogy earlier where he's like, I can only see the puzzle pieces, but I can't see the picture on the box or whatever. And if I change too much stuff, the box changes. And I was like, oh, that's actually a really interesting way of putting this. And he's like, you know, I can't tell you guys everything because I don't want things to change. But boy, howdy, can he tell them a lot? Because like they now know that he can see the future, and he's like, I can tell you a shitload of stuff about this, but I can't tell you these very specific things that play into coaxing you along. Like that seems like a very weird sort of roundabout rule. But I get it. Like, whatever, we're dealing with like literal clairvoyance and time travel and like what.
I mean, the one thing we know is that the show operates on the whatever happens view of, you know, time. Yeah. So like, it's that thing of like, he can't really change it because if he changes it, that's what ends up happening, right?
Right.
Sure.
So let's not get into time travel conversation. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Let's keep talking the episode.
We'll definitely have to have you back for the second season of the podcast where we talk about like seasons 4 and 5 with like the heavy duty time travel stuff.
Yes, please.
Well, actually, we should have a Nicholas and Nick episode because our official time travel correspondent, Nick Brandel, because we know how much he loves time travel. Okay.
That would be pretty good.
All right, mark that down.
Record with us at different time periods and splice us in. So it's like a time.
That's Write that down. Write that down.
That's gold, Joey. Gold.
We come back to flashback. Desmond is just getting hammered on red wine. Hell yes.
My hero.
I've had many of those nights.
It's been so long since I quit drinking. But like I remember getting wine drunk and how much of a different drunk it is than like any other type of drunk.
I can back that up, Adam.
Yes, red wine is an experience.
Yeah.
Almost a religious experience. That was the point. I'm sorry. They're monks. I'm sorry. I'm ashamed of myself.
You're talking to us.
Right. We're on episode 41 of watching Lost out of order. Like, if anybody should be ashamed, it's me and JP.
Guys, I watched Lost in order.
The other guy, is it Brother Campbell or is it Brother Melvin?
Barbara Martin Campbell, director of Casino Royale.
They come in. He comes in. He's like, "Yeah, you're fired. Like, you can't be getting drunk and drinking our expensive wine, and you obviously don't like it here, and like all this stuff. So you're fired." But he says, like, God's got bigger plans for you, and like he tries to sort of soften the blow of firing him.
Yeah, the little line that he has, God has bigger plans. You've spent so much time running away, you don't realize what you might be running toward. Mm-hmm. And while that's really fortune cookie-y, like I kind of like that, especially for Desmond.
Him almost becoming like a monk. It seems like in the present, as religious of a person as somebody who almost became a monk would be, you know, like even I would have sort of expected him to be more religious, I guess, as a character. And it seems like he moves on from it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. Because again, like Nicholas said, like he's had a ton of jobs. So like
right, exactly. Like it's not his one character trait.
Yeah. So
Back to the Jungle.
Yeah. They've gotten to the point. This is the thing. It's the area. It's the vision. It's the big climax of Desmond's vision. They're in the spot. Somebody says something about how do they start the argument?
And Jin asked about Penny, and then
and Hurley has a fantastic line about, dude, even if I spoke Korean and tried to explain this to you, you wouldn't understand. Like,
that's
it's so good.
Yeah. Like as that part's wrapping up, somebody makes like an offhand comment, which sparks the Superman versus the Flash race argument. And that's what makes Desmond like aware. It's like, okay, we're coming up on the dangerous part, the part that I have been keeping from Charlie. Right. Like he sees the tripwire, he sees the arrow, he's all good. He's like, okay. And this is his Isaac Abraham moment. He's like, well, if I'm going to see my girlfriend again, I've got to let Charlie die. Charlie steps on the wire. It starts spinning up the 30 seconds in between the trap being triggered and the arrow actually firing. And at the last moment, Desmond decides to save Charlie. He's not going to cross that line and let Charlie die, even if it means that his vision of being reunited with Penny doesn't come true.
Oh, but the guitar is trashed. Oh no. How will we recover from this loss?
As they're moving along from this, like Charlie gets mad at him. He's like, you know, this was the thing that you kept. Well, they argue about it. And then Desmond has this thing where he harkens back to the Isaac and Abraham. He's like, maybe this was just another test, and I'm tested all the time, and I'm constantly failing these tests. Like he feels really like it's weird. He carries a guilt about saving Charlie's life because he's always seen himself as a coward and a failure, which is, again, maybe if we were watching the show in order, I'd buy a little bit more. But like right now, like, dude, you kick ass. Like you're a king, baby. Come on, like feel good, walk tall.
Batting 1,000 was saving Charlie.
The whole like coward failure thing, it's been set up as like a thing Desmond's dealt with, and like this episode did kind of push that. But like, on the island, he's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. While they're walking along and arguing, they find the pilot hanging in the tree. They look donezo, not moving. That's it. Like it's like, and so for a moment, it's Desmond has that thing. It's like, okay, I saved Charlie, and so now, if this is Penny, she's dead. I changed it. The vision didn't come true. I fucking blew it. Well, you know, he's circling all this stuff.
Which I don't understand that, because like whether he dies or lives, they spend a very short amount of time in the same area, and like does saving Charlie get them lost and they spend 3 days looking for the pilot? Like I don't understand how Charlie's death.
I went back and watched the original like vision, and it was just like, you know, he like Charlie's, you know, tracheotomy and like bleeding out, and Desmond takes off running. And it's like, was he running towards the pilot, or was he running back to camp? Because they're saying go get Jack, even though they've already like camped out a day already. Like, was he supposed to be running towards the pilot to like save the pilot?
Right. Yeah. We come back to a flashback from there. And then the ending of the episode is sort of intercut in between flashback and present day, which is kind of interesting. As Desmond and Jin and Hurley and Charlie are trying to get the pilot out of the tree, it's also intercut with these little clips from the flashback where it's the morning after. Desmond's like getting ready to leave. The brother Campbell's like, hey, just wait a little while to get you a ride into town, whatever. The flashback part of this is really cool because like it shows right like Desmond, he already buys into the God has bigger plans for me. Like he's charming. He's laughing. I get the sense that he's excited to see what is next. He does believe that there's something bigger for him beyond this. And so he's helping load some wine into a car, and then you hear a woman's voice at the back, and then to myself I was like, oh, okay, here she is.
Here's the meet cute. Here we go.
Yeah. And the two of them, like the amount of chemistry that they have, the level of charm that both of them exude during this little conversation.
Yeah, it's like, fantastic.
Jesus. Like, people are watching this, the two of them talk and meet cute, and people watching are getting pregnant. Like, it's so horny and adorable and romantic, and I literally don't have any notes for how, because I was just like
it's like this is the same episode that had all the Jack, Kate, Juliet, Sawyer stuff.
Right. Horny and adorable is also what it says on my driver's license.
She introduces herself. I'm Penny. I'm Desmond. All that stuff. Then meanwhile in the jungle, they're cutting down the parachute. They get it like. The pilot's alive. Oh shit, she's breathing.
Oh snap!
Get back! Give her room! Get out of my way! He goes to take her helmet off, and it is not Penny. It is Naomi.
Oh
God. We know a little bit about Naomi, not a ton. Again, because again we've seen a couple episodes that come after this one.
Yeah, Naomi set up to be a really big character. Totally lost.
Creating all the foundations for some great storytelling regarding Naomi.
She'll be everybody's fan favorite along with Nikki and Paulo.
I mean, to be fair, she introduces a ton of interesting stuff into the show.
Yeah, but
you forgot one of the most important things about that flashback beyond the adorableness of Penny and Desmond.
What was that?
On Brother Campbell.
My God.
Let's go that one.
Yes.
Okay, I gotta be this guy because this freaked me out when I was watching it in like 2007, 2008. The photo on his desk of him with Mrs. Hawking.
Oh shit, I saw that. I remember seeing that photo, and all I thought about it when I looked at that picture, I was just like, that woman looks familiar.
Yeah.
It was just interesting how they had set the shot up to have that picture so prominent. Like, because they could have barely
obvious, and it's the worst Photoshop I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh yes, it's so bad.
I remember also thinking when I was looking at it that the backdrop of it reminds me of the photo of Penny and Desmond.
They at least explain eventually like why that photo is so bad.
Yeah, they do, and I actually kind of like the explanation. It's kind of neat, but yeah, that's what I thought about when I saw the background of the photo. It's like that looks a lot like the Penny Desmond photo.
Yeah, but it's also like God has a bigger plan for you, and it's like she's involved.
She's right there.
God is
really like
deep,
for all
lofty,
of you.
like conspiracy, like play, like I was back then. It was like, oh shit moment.
Because my brain is a useless repository of knowledge, I saw the picture. My eye was immediately drawn to it, and I was like, hey, is that the lady from Ewok Adventure? And I went on IMDb, and it fucking is. And won, baby. She was also in Tears of the Sun, Four Brothers, The Others, and an episode of Columbo called Murder, a Self-Portrait. Anyways,
but yeah, so like they get her down. It's Naomi. It's not Penny. Desmond in the past meets Penny and all of that, and then that is the end of the episode. Oh no, she wakes up and she says Desmond. So like Naomi knows Desmond, probably just from the picture, but like lost. And that's the end of it. That's the end of Catch-22. Before we get into our typical end of the episode segments, we have to cover one of our favorite, every 10 episodes or so, one of our favorite segments, Lost Missing Pieces.
Jesus
This week
Christ.
on Lost, we are talking about the Lost Missing Piece Operation Sleeper, originally aired.
I'm asleep because this is an exposition dump.
And also they're sleeping, but somebody who likes puns.
Operation Sleeper originally aired on December 3rd, 2007 on Verizon, and then December 10th, 2007 on ABC.com. This is one of those mobisodes that were meant to be watched on phones. Looks like half of them are shot on phones. These aired in between season 3 and 4. It was written by Brian K. Vaughan, coincidentally enough, and then it was directed by Jack Bender.
I think that this was written by a machine that watched 1,000 hours of Lost and then was asked to write a script.
Jack's asleep in his tent. Julie comes and wakes him up. She confesses to him that she's...
Nope. We're stopping already. Jack wakes up to a noise. Cut to Juliet already sitting crisscross applesauce. She's just... The editing in this is so bad. Like, she's just sitting there staring at him, watching him sleep.
Maybe they're
Did either of you guys watch Elementary?
No.
No.
There's a running gag of Holmes doing this exact same thing to Watson. But it's like, it's actually done well as opposed to whatever the hell happened here in 3
Whatever
minutes.
happened here, yeah.
Well, I'm going to check that out then.
Juliet wakes him up and she's like, nobody trusts me. It's like, okay, duh. And or hello. Like, you're one of the bad guys. Like, the survivors have spent weeks and weeks and weeks of the others antagonizing them, and then Jack comes home with one. And he's just like, hey, she's our friend. And I was like, dude, it makes sense that nobody trusts you.
They trust the weird Scottish guy more instead.
Yeah, the weird Scottish guy who didn't have pants for the longest time.
Let's check our social barometer expert. Saeed, do you trust her? No. Well, then that's 100% proof positive that she's still working for Ben.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Which she confesses. She's like, they're right not to trust me. I am still working for Ben. We're
Right.
doing some pregnant lady research.
Totally forgot about the pregnancy stuff.
So many fucking words just get thrown. Like, son, she's pregnant. She'll be dead in a month. Submarine.
the submarine. Yeah,
wheelchair.
goddamn.
Locke blew it up.
I thought that was so much late. I forgot that was from like those 3 episodes, like 6 episode miniseries. I thought it was like later on in the show.
Yeah, no, it's the submarine. Like they were gonna get on it. They didn't. Neither did she. Like, we all chose to stay here. Son's gonna die because she's got a baby. She says they gotta leave. Duh. Again, duh and or hello. Like, the entire point of getting off of being. Everybody wants to leave the island.
Again, Bernard's like trying to make the SOS symbol. Come on, guys.
Everybody get in Bernard's camp because he's the only one who remembers that the stated mission from day one was to go home.
Adam, you and I were talking about this a little bit before the recording. Like, this feels just like a deleted scene, but it's weird because the story still works without it. So it's like, so either this was a deleted scene that they're like, well, the show works without it, but we're going to add it in there in case people have these specific questions. It's this weird, like, yes, this is supposed to be like context exposition, but does it really matter? I don't fucking think so.
No. They end up covering basically everything she talks about in episodes.
It was like a recap, but I couldn't figure out. It was also like, if this was the deleted scene or whatever, I couldn't figure out where the hell it was supposed to be in the show.
Right.
Like, what episode?
Yeah.
According to Lost PD, at least, the scene takes place in between the real-time events of the episode DOC, which we have not watched, and the Brig, which we have watched. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, that's episode. That's Lost Missing Pieces, Operation Sleeper. It felt like a deleted scene. Obviously, it was very easy to delete because whatever.
Yeah. Holy shit. Don't care.
That is Catch-22 and Operation Sleeper for this episode of Lost on Isles. Let's do some end of the episode stuff.
Yeah.
First question, as always, did we like it / was it good? How do we feel about just Catch-22 without any of its surrounding information? Nicholas, why don't you kick us off?
I liked it.
Okay.
I want to say it was good because the A plot is awesome, the B plot is bad, and the flashbacks are kind of bad. But the ending of the flashbacks are awesome, and the main camping trip is awesome. So yeah.
Perfect. JP.
Yeah, I just to repeat what Nicholas just said, like, yeah, I love the A-plot stuff. It's really good. It felt a little stretched out. Like, I don't know if this is the best 40 minutes of television I ever watched, but I did enjoy it. So I don't know if it's good, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. And the B-plot stuff, while it was like snooze fest, it wasn't the most egregious B-plot we've ever seen. So yeah, overall, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, good episode. Adam?
I would have to agree. I remember I messaged you, JP, earlier today before we started recording. I was like, I think this is a bad episode that I like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching it a lot. But yeah, there was some clunky stuff within it. It did not stop me from liking the episode. So that's what I'm going to say. I think it was a bad episode that I really enjoyed watching.
Absolutely.
That will bring us to our next segment, the Lost MVP. Who is your favorite character of Catch-22? Who is just rocking the Casbah for the 45 minutes that we spent watching Lost today? Nicholas, what do you say?
I mean,
who's your Lost MVP?
Desmond. Desmond's the best character of the show. A Desmond-centric episode is going to be the best one. Sorry, just that.
I mean, solid pick. He was great.
JP, how about you?
I'm going to say Jin. Jin's just down for boys' night. He's always down for whatever. It's important for men to just like spend time with other men in non-toxic environments, and just kind of going out camping, just sort of getting to know each other. I think that's great. And he's just he's a ray of sunshine.
Dude's rock.
So, Jin, yeah. Adam, who's your MVP?
It could be either one of those, Desmond or Jin, because those are both great answers. Like Desmond, not only because he is the central character, so he's the engine that drives sort of the mythology aspect of this episode forward. But yeah, Jin just, in absence of Saeed, who we haven't seen in forever, I'm happy we are at least seeing Jin. And yeah, the four of them, no, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say the four of them. I'm going to say the camping quattro there. The four of them together, Desmond, Charlie, Jin, and Hurley. The camping buddies, that was just cool. They were fun.
Like I said, give me 10% more of that stuff in the show, and I'm just like, it's got its hook so far into me then.
That brings us to the second half of this bit, the other side of the coin, the Lost Forever. Who was trash? Who could we have really done without? Nicholas. Lost Forever.
Whoever decided that we needed a flashback to why Desmond says forever. No.
Perfect.
Okay, no. I'd say the love quadrangle just because it was bad.
Yeah.
This episode. Yeah.
Adam, who's your Lost Forever?
I have to agree. The Jack, Sawyer, Kate, Juliet thing, leave me alone. I've only got so much time in my life. I can't look at the four of you and
you're
wonder.
You're going to wake up. Juliet's going to be sitting right beside you, telling you to watch more of this.
If that happened, she would be my lost MVP for the rest of my life. If I woke up and Elizabeth Mitchell was like, "Oh, get up, honey, we got to go watch Lost," I'd be like, "Yes, ma'am."
I'm living the best life.
I would be so good to her.
Actually, that's a good one.
But yeah. That's that foursome thing. That was dumb as hell. I don't want to listen to the four of them say, "Ooh, do you like somebody or do you like somebody?" I don't care. Fuck off. All right. So JP, what about you? Who's your Lost Forever?
Coming in again on Lost, the Roman Catholic Church. So listen, according to one of my favorite websites, the WineCellarInsider.com, 1995 wasn't even a great year for wine, especially Scottish wine, and they're charging same year vintage for $100. Oh, it's only 1 of 300. That seems like artificial scarcity to me. And there's only 300 bottles. What? There's 12 bottles in a case of wine, and you're selling like 8 of them to one client. Fuck you guys. Okay, you need to start. Oh well, it's really expensive. Well, maybe you shouldn't have so much invested in your overhead if your gross profits don't meet your net costs. You fucking dipshits.
Jeepers.
Sorry, I got a nosebleed and I had to stop.
Oh my god.
Anyways.
Yeah, suck at the Roman Catholic Church. Only just now. I was like, oh yeah, I guess they make wine in Scotland?
Yeah, they do. I mean, you make wine anywhere.
I was thinking to myself, they're probably in Italy.
Listen, everybody's making scotch. I got an idea. We'll do something different.
We're going to subvert expectations. We're making wine. That's fucking dumb, you guys. You're in Scotland. Make scotch.
Well, yeah, but the Presbyterians beat them too bad, so it's like more of a warring, back and forth religious thing.
Yeah,
now I'm kind of back in on this.
Nicholas, thank you so much for taking the time, bud.
Yes.
Let's hear a little bit more about your podcast that you mentioned up at the top, the other fellas.
Yeah, so right now it's mainly a YouTube channel. It's The Other Fellas 007 on YouTube. Myself and my co-host Adam Roscoe, not you, Adam.
Oh, are you cheating on me?
I've known him longer.
We'll talk about this on the way home.
Fine, I'm gonna go run away and join a monastery. No, Adam and I we talk about James Bond because we're both huge Bond nerds, and it's a way for us to sort of hang out during the pandemic because we started it. We're talking about other related spy things like Mission Impossible series, Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Hell yeah.
But movie stuff, movie news, sort of weird exhibits and things like that. And we have more than a dozen episodes. We did a Halloween special. We've done things about Hammer Horror featuring Bond villains. So check it out.
Yeah, it's a fun show. I've caught several episodes of it. I personally am not a Bond fan, and watching the show listening to you and Adam talk about Casino Royale made me really want to go watch the Daniel Craig Casino Royale. So it's the show works for, I think, fans and non-fans alike. So
Thank you.
Well, we will drop a link to that on our socials, and definitely check that out. And also, go check out Task and Purpose because they put out some fantastic shit.
I read a Task and Purpose article 4 or 5 times a week, probably. Like anytime it comes up on my socials, like it's all very interesting.
But specifically
stuff,
on the weekends.
But specifically on the weekends, I read every article on the weekend.
I really hope my bosses are listening to this episode.
What are we watching next time?
Next time, we are going to be watching Season 2, Episode 6, Abandoned. JP, make a guess as to who Abandoned is about.
Kate.
Shannon. Yeah, we got a Shannon episode coming up, and I think it's our first
she was in
one.
this show.
We've seen Shannon die about 4 times. And we are going to now, only just now, watch her centric episode. I believe her only centric episode.
Talk about going into this with low expectations.
So that'll be exciting. Yeah, next time, Season 2, Episode 6, Abandoned, featuring Shannon.
So thank you for listening to this episode of Lost on Lost.
I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
Do you have any idea what's going on in the show?
Nope.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.